Okay, and the second bit of news we're going to be talking about is James McAvoy has expressed interest in coming back to the MCU, right? Well, not back to the MCU, he hasn't appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but coming back to play Professor X in the MCU, which would just, it would be ridiculous, right? I know with WandaVision, there was a lot of talk about who's the engineer and who's this mysterious cameo they're going to have, and my opinion was it was going to be Professor X. Of course it wasn't, but I think there's just something brewing in the water where I feel like they will want to bring back Professor X, and James McAvoy has expressed interest in coming back as that character. He did say in an interview that he thinks it ended on a good note with his story. He thinks it ended somewhere really nice, and he wouldn't want to come back and ruin that. So he would only come back and play Professor X if the role had good writing, if the movie had a good story behind it. But I think in the MCU, especially as of late, they've proven to have good writing. They've proven to have these really good story structures and have been really well, just dramatic narratives behind superhero movies. There's no way if they were to bring him back to a film, he wouldn't like the writing. I think they've proven time and time again that they can deliver quality films, quality writing, and I think he would just really do well to come back into the MCU. I think especially as well with the lawsuit that's going on now. You know, there's talks about them maybe losing Spider-Man and Iron Man. I know he's gone, but he could come back. And them about losing Spider-Man, you know, and I think if they are to lose those key characters, they're going to need to bring in new characters. I don't think they will lose those characters. I think they'll end up paying the estate just enough for them to be happy with the money and for them to keep them in the Avengers, because ultimately they will lose the Avengers if that happens. But I think as well, if these characters could be taken away, if these characters could maybe not be there in the foreseeable future, then they're going to have to bring in some other characters. And you would bring back Professor X. People loved him. He was great in his films. And I think in the MCU, he would just relish. I think it's a better narrative story structure. I think they would know what to do with his character a little bit more. And I think, yeah, he would just bring something new to the MCU that would be much needed and keep it, as we've seen lately, keep it fresh. You know, they keep bringing new things in. Every 6 months, there's a big MCU story. There's a new character. There's a new whatever. And I think if they bring in Professor X, they've just hit the home run there, because I think he will just be terrific. And if he's already expressing interest, we know how Marvel are. He could already be in talks, and they could be telling him to say a few things here and there just to get the conversation going. Marvel and the MCU were just terrific at doing that and building hype around something. And whenever there's talk, it's usually starting from somewhere. That rumor probably starts from them actually having a meeting with James McAvoy. I would not be surprised. So yeah, I think if we see him in the foreseeable future, probably not this year or the next, but maybe in 2-3 years' time, we could see James McAvoy in there, and I think that would just be amazing. So yeah. And if you guys liked watching that video, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm really happy to have started doing movie episodes, to be doing movie news episodes now, and to be talking about film, just due to the fact that my film podcast has been doing really well. I'm really happy to, bring more movie content and more movie news content via my personal channel too. I will still be doing vlogs as well, because that making short films and vlogs is my other passion in film creating. But, talking about movie news and bringing my podcast to this channel is really important as well. So if you really like the video and you want to become part of this family, because I really want to build a good cinephile family here, be sure to hit that subscribe button.